Jesus has come to your house. You've welcomed him in. He sits down at your table and he begins to teach. It's the perfect opportunity. So what are you going to do about it? Well, that's the exact same scenario that we find in Luke chapter 10 at the house of Martha and Mary. We find two very different sisters with two very different focuses. Neither of them are sinful, but only one of them is necessary and cannot be taken away from them. Mary sits down at the feet of Jesus and begins to listen. She chose the one necessary thing, listening to and coming to know Jesus. Jesus had the words of life. What if she missed something? And so to Mary, the dishes could wait, but this could not. Martha, on the other hand, she was busy and distracted with much serving. Jesus says that she was worried and troubled over many things. And so Martha wanted to know Jesus too. But every time she tried to focus on Jesus, that buzzer went off, or she needed to put the towels out, or she realized the rolls needed buttered. She was just so distracted. So many of us can relate to Martha. We want to know Jesus too, but we get distracted with things that just won't last. Somebody illustrated it this way. Have you ever been to Martha's house? I mean, do you even know where Martha's house was? Is Martha's house even still standing, you think? And so do you think 2,000 years later it really matters whether Martha had a well-kept house while Jesus was there or not? And even if it was still standing, we know that it's going to be burned up with everything else that is in this earth. And so that well-kept house is not going into eternity with Martha. But the stories that Mary learned from Jesus on that day will. And so there are some good things in this life, even things that are good for us, but they only threaten to distract us from the things that are absolutely necessary. We put so many first-rate efforts into second-rate causes that only distract. Let me illustrate it with scripture. In 1 Timothy 4, verse 8, Paul tells Timothy that there is a profit in bodily exercise. It's good for you. You even should do it. It gets you in shape. But he goes on to say that godliness is not only profitable here, but is profitable into the next life. We can spend hours and hours at a gym trying to get ourselves in shape, trying to perfect our bodies, but still not have time for the things that are necessary. Studying our Bibles, praying, going to church and worshiping God, or spending time with fellow Christians, those who are God's children. And so there are so many things that just distract us in this life from the things that are necessary and that cannot be taken away from us.